I want to watch this video about passport bros from FBE Capital.
Here's the thing about being a single plus-size woman having to deal with fat phobia. I think that there's definitely time
Look in my eyes, you seeing victory. We ain't taking L's, death to our enemies.
Even better, it doesn't even look like Bali.
You cannot stop me. Sit back and watch me straight to the top.
You can enjoy days like this.
I'm home.
Yeah, I can be independent. Yes, I do it all on my own as a single mom.
Where are we finding men now?
I want a man to show up so I can be soft.
Yeah.
And I'm so sick of waiting. I just want love in my life so bad.
No matter what opposition that you bring, I will be standing because I am the king. I am the lion. This is my jungle, like a gorilla, ready to rumble.
Just for this point in my life, like, it just feels like Jesus.
I'm literally on the verge of crying.
I'm literally on the verge of tears. Yet another situationship has ended.
I've been trying to meet someone, just anybody worth my time for years.
It's like, as far as I'm concerned, I've been left behind.
Victim.
After 3 years of living in Southeast Asia,
Thankful to be out here.
Living the dream that I'm so lucky to live.
I am done being an independent. Look at the state me. I've decided I am no longer a strong, independent woman that needs no man.
And I was like, I weigh 220 pounds. But the thing is, I wear my weight very well.
I think there might be some better options. This is my obey.
Oh my God, the view is ridiculous.
Don't want to be single anymore. And
I will be 33 next month.
I'm fine. I need...
Guys, you gotta leave the West.
Go where you're treated best.
Yes, boys, we are back with part 2 of Passport Bros. Finally, I know, I promised part 2 a long time ago, but you know, sometimes it's a bit difficult behind the scenes here to get certain videos out. So please forgive me for that. But anyways, we are back and we are jumping straight in where we left off in part 1. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, go check it out first, then come back to part 2. Otherwise, some things might not make a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, you're going Dutch? Oh! Yeah, I think it's just, I think it's bull.
By the way, if you are feeling the Passport Bros series, then smash that like button and let me know in the comment section if you want more of these. Anyways, enough waffling, let's get to it. So clearly, modern women absolutely hate Passport Bros because unlike men, these modern women in the West really have nowhere else to go since they all practice fake feminism.
Like, paying a bill 50-50 is bullshit.
They should pay for everything.
Men should always pay.
I don't care how much money I ever make, I still want my man to pay for everything.
Yeah, real equal. And so this ability for men to simply ignore Western women, opt out of dating apps, and escape to countries where the majority of women are still feminine and kind is really starting to anger a lot of modern women.
So yeah, real quick, he makes a great point in saying that these Western women, they don't really have the same option to go elsewhere that Western men do. And this has me thinking, so there's like two groups of women in America, okay? And the first group I want to talk about is like the feminist types. So they actually say that men are too masculine. They're so masculine that it's toxic, right? Toxic masculinity. They're very anti-patriarchy. They think men should be more like women, should embrace their feminine side. They should be more emotional. They should be more vulnerable. So that's one group. And then the other group of American women, they say the opposite. They say men are too feminine. Men are not masculine enough. Men need to man up. Where are the real men? And they want to make masculinity great again. So this is we have these two groups of women, right? And the thing that's common about both of them is that they have what I usually say is like feminist foundations. And so both of these groups of women are going to be undesirable to men all over the world, essentially. And the reason I bring up these two different groups is because they both have something to say about Western men and their behavior and how they act and how they could essentially be better. But what's interesting is that Western men as a whole are going to be desirable all over the world. They can go south, they can go east, and yet these men don't really seem to ever have that difficult of a time finding a good woman. And so it's like, they have a lot to say about Western men, but the fact of the matter is these men really don't have that hard of a time finding women outside of America. But the same cannot be said about American women, because even though these two groups have different perceptions or different looks and different ideas about the Western male, these two groups, if these women want to leave and seek options elsewhere, they're not going to be able to make it happen because, look, if these feminist women over here think American men are, too masculine, well, if they want to go east and they think they're going to find men that are like less masculine, it's probably not going to happen because feminism doesn't quite have as strong of a grasp over there in the Eastern world. I'm not saying they're completely free from it, but it's certainly not as omnipresent. And if these women, this other group of women who say American men are too soft and they aren't masculine enough, well, if they want to go elsewhere, sure, perhaps men over there are going to be very masculine. There's the volume, right? There's not going to be as many soy boys and feminists in the eastern parts of the world as there are over here in the West. These men don't want anything to do with these women because even though they claim to be feminine and they want a traditional masculine man, they have feminist foundations. They're abrasive. A lot of them are quite promiscuous. They're entitled. They speak like sailors. I could go on and on. They're just not quite as feminine as women in the eastern part of the world. So it's like these two groups of women are in fact, what he's saying, they're pretty much screwed. Wherever they go, men aren't really going to be that interested. However, Western men, I would say, are pretty versatile. I would say they grew up being under constant scrutiny. They constantly are being ear-beaten by both groups of these ladies that I was talking about. You're too masculine. You're not masculine enough. The mainstream messaging is always kind of shitting on them. Always, and then you've got this other, side to it where men are told to do the right thing, be a real man, man up. They've been raised in a very gynocentric world to constantly pedestalize and prioritize women. So these Western men, they treat women pretty well. They make good long-term boyfriends. They make good long-term husbands. They are actually pretty masculine, except for, I would say, the male feminists and the soy boys. And they have kind of been told that they should be sort of like a provider. And they have this type of mindset that a lot of women across the world want. So this is why when these Western men go abroad, they really don't struggle that much. Western men are desired by women all over the world. But the same cannot be said about Western women because they're too feminist. They're too masculine. I guess I wouldn't say they're too masculine. They lack too much femininity. It's a very foreign concept to them.
Port bros be, first of all, predators.
I think going abroad, they go for women who are more vulnerable.
Okay, let's talk about passport bros. So the only women they'll be getting are the ones that they're paying for.
Now, here's the thing. This is coming from a place of superiority, right? This woman's talking about these men going Eastern, assuming and saying that these are predators. They're going after more vulnerable women. And this is coming from a place of Western superiority in these women's mind. They think they're better than these Eastern women. They think they're more intelligent. They think they're more savvy to men's bullshit. And it just goes to show you how they perceive men. They can't help but expose how they view men and their anti-male, like instinctive thinking. Oh, these men predators. Oh, these men are going to take advantage of vulnerable women because men are shit, men are trash. This is their natural instinct to want to go and prey on vulnerable women. It's horse shit, and that type of mindset is exactly why these men are out of here.
Now what's ironic here is that this lady, Jessica, who is a massive hater of passport bros, is actually a passport sis herself.
That made me decide to go to Italy today.
Well, all these women talk about not wanting to go 50-50 and these men need to pay. And then when these women go, or when these men choose to go overseas, these women say, oh, you're just going to have to end up paying. When it's like, well, hold on, it's the same shit then. You guys want our money. You guys don't like 50-50, blah, blah, blah. But you're saying that they're going overseas and they're going to have to do the exact same thing they would have to do if they deal with you. So what do you mean?
the Balkans, you know what I'm talking about, and it's all men.
But yeah, you can't really expect that type of chivalry that I have found in other countries. Even in the ones that I love, that I prefer to date in, like Italy, passport brain movement is more American male toxicity.
Yep, classic big fat hypocritical feminist, traveling all over the world to meet men but then cry about it when men do the very same thing, only a lot better. Anyways, not only is Jessica here traveling all over Europe trying to find a great guy, she's not exactly having any luck with it.
German men I felt were very similar to American men. They want to go 50-50. If they do pay, they're definitely expecting something. If you don't give them something, there's some resentment. It's with the men these days, sitting on the, kind of sitting on the outskirts, waiting for women to make the first.
I don't like it, y'all. And this is universal. I'm even finding Italian men doing this.
Haha, yeah. Definitely not a great idea to go to Europe if you don't want to do 50-50.
You go on that first date and the woman pays for you?
Yeah, it's fine for me.
In fact, as a Dutchie myself, we do not try to impress women with fancy cars to pick them up from a date. No, we show up on bicycles and she can hop on, or she can just meet us at the bar or the restaurant. We Dutchies really don't care how she gets there, just as long as she gets there on time. We really do care about that. And so you see, this proves what I've been saying, which is that modern women are all trapped in their own bullshit, leaving them with nowhere to go. Because nowhere outside of America are men going to cater to this nonsense, and on top of that, more and more American men are now waking up to the fact that there is a whole world out there where women actually like men.
Gray is cooking up an absolute storm. You're cooking 3 Filipino dishes today. 4 Filipino, yes,
Dessert?
There's a 4th, that's a Filipino dessert, yes.
And you can live like a king for as low as $1,000 a month.
Just like $500 per month.
The cost of living is fantastic. You can get nice places for $500-600 a month.
I'll tell you what, man, after my lease is up here, I'm probably going to look at my options and decide on whether or not I want to go overseas, live out there, maybe learn a new language in the meantime.
Is what $500 a month can get you in Bangkok, Thailand.
Yep, that's right guys. All you really need to get started as a passport bro is just $2,000 of online income and some good SPF protection from all the sun you'll be getting. So now that men in the West are waking up and they're saying we are done with the games and these stupid dating apps and are now discovering new and better worlds, the women in the West are actually finding this out the hard way, and it's not pretty.
I'm tired of the dating game.
Yeah, I got ready for no reason. I've been single for 7 years. I deserve someone to share who I am with.
I deserve somebody. I deserve to find somebody.
I'm 30 and beginning to think that this whole dying alone thing isn't gonna be a running joke. It's gonna be reality.
I used to talk so much shit about girls who settled, and now I hope to become one.
Yeah, now they want to settle. Not so funny anymore, huh? When men are no longer playing along and you have to deal with the consequences of your action. Which is why modern women will now try to scare dudes into not dating foreign women.
They're going to use you. They're going to treat you worse than American women. They have higher expectations.
Because according to them, these foreign women simply do not speak English and are too stupid to understand you.
The Philippines, Thailand, women that can speak very little English, women that don't have education.
They don't know what's available to them.
The standards are a little lower over there because most of the women come from poverty, right?
It is truly amazing how no one will ever be more condescending to women than a feminist, since these women are basically comparing foreign women to monkeys that can't read or write. Like, hello, do you realize that half the planet pretty much speaks or at least understands basic English? And if you've ever dated in Italy or Spain, then you know that women in the Philippines and other Asian countries are actually much better at speaking English than many Italian or Spanish women. As a matter of fact, they speak better English than whatever the hell this is.
So I don't want to talk like that. Is that it? You're supposed to be best friend. What do you want to tell us?
Oh lord. Anyways, let's actually pull up the official global index for English proficiency to see what's going on. Boom, the Dutchies are rocking the #1 spot, awesome. But in second place already, you find Singapore. And at number 15, still classified as high proficiency, you find Romania, followed by a whole bunch of Eastern European countries, which by the way is a great alternative to Southeast Asia if you are not into Asian women.
Oh shit, here we go! It's on! Race war!
Yes, I know, nowadays in Snowflake land, race is such an incredible touchy subject, and even just mentioning a type is now considered white supremacy or racism. But in this channel, we do not give a fuck, okay? Because men like what they like. It's as simple as that.
It would be with like a busty blonde or an Asian with pointy nipples.
Exactly, Ari. I mean, let's be honest, we are talking after all about traveling abroad to find a better life and start dating better women. So yeah, what those women look like and if you are attracted to them plays a huge role. Anyways, back to the proficiency index, where we see that at number 20, the Philippines still sits 15 spots above Spain and Italy at number 35. So clearly, you can find plenty of women in both Asia and Eastern Europe who speak English at a very high level, making dating abroad a lot easier. But not only do plenty of foreign...
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm really not that interested in them speaking great English, to be totally frank. That's kind of one of the reasons I like the idea of this. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm really not that interested in American women, because I don't really find English speaking attractive anymore. I actually associate it with abrasiveness and women being loud and obnoxious. So I'm okay with them not. I prefer a lower efficiency in English.
Speak English, their countries also have these magical buildings.
Hello everyone. Hi. My name is Jack. I am from Australia.
Moving into the IT class. Let's go.
Hello students. How are you?
So even the king has set up coding for kids, which you know is so important these days.
Called high schools and universities, where they actually learn
Almost every Mexican girl I've gone out with here is well educated. They have a high paying job. They're like an engineer or a supply chain manager or a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer.
So you're not dating some savage from a remote village,
women that don't have education,
cut off completely from modern technology. No, you're actually dating a regular woman who has a job or is studying or even does volunteer work.
Have you been to parties or found yourself ever in a really bad neighborhood?
Yeah, I work in a favela in Brazil.
Wow, you worked in the favela?
Yeah.
Wow, what were you doing in the favela?
I was volunteering for kids.
It's an angel over here. That's amazing.
Simply beautiful. And a big change.
Oh God, you can't. Oh gee, you can't go from this woman.
Angel over here. That's amazing.
Simply beautiful. And
to that. God, bro. You did that on purpose, man. I need a warning.
Change from dating in the West, where the village toad has the audacity to demand hundreds of dollars so that you can be graced by her royal presence.
Here are some things I expect a man to pay for while I'm dating him or we're in a relationship. All dates. My nails to be done, my conditioners, my leave-ins. Eventually, you're gonna have to pay my rent.
Yeah, this is what you call not knowing your worth. But anyways, dating overseas in a lot of these countries is truly going back in time with old school values in a modern world where women are simply dating with intent and not just to cure their boredom for when Chad is finally done banging some other girl.
Another big cultural difference is the level of flakiness. This was such a big frustration for me in the US because it seemed like about half of the dates that I would schedule, they would cancel on me. Whereas here in Mexico, once I have a date scheduled, there's like a 90% chance that that's going to happen.
You see, these foreign women are not some poor little village girl needing super gringo to come and save her, but she's actually just living a normal life and she's happy to stay in her own country. Which actually makes it more likely that when you find someone to date, she's not dating you for your money or a green card, since a lot of these women do not want to leave their families. Now obviously, women that want to exploit you do exist over there. And yes, if you're being an idiot, you can easily be taken advantage of. But how is that any different from your life in the West?
Well, yeah, nobody's saying that these women are perfect. Nobody's saying that. What we are saying, though, is that there's better options for you. And in general, it's going to be better.
Men should always pay.
I mean, in the West, plenty of women are taking advantage of men on a massive scale, where the majority of women are simply using men for attention and money and are even dating multiple men at the same time. So let's not pretend that men are only going to be taken advantage of when they go overseas. This is completely ridiculous.
Well, this has me thinking, it's just polarity is so refreshing. Like some of the clips he's played so far are just sweet looking women behaving very feminine, big smile on their face. They're not really saying much. You don't hear them speaking abrasive English. They're a lot more soft-spoken. And then, you showed me clips of this. It's like when he does these comparisons, yeah, it just is like, it opens my eyes. It's like, wow, this is where like all that partnership bullshit comes in again, because it like implies a lack of polarity. And for me, the opposite of me is so attractive. And a lot of these American women, they just really aren't that opposite of me. And that's why it's just not that attractive to me. The lack of polarity is really what puts me off to a lot of these ladies. And, I call them ladies, but I don't even think a lot of them have earned that. They're modern women. So it's just the polarity is so refreshing. It's so refreshing.
At the same time. So let's not pretend that men are only going to be taken advantage of when they go overseas. This is completely ridiculous. At least overseas, you have far more women to choose from that actually want to date with intent, since it's still embedded in the culture. While in the West, you can choose from all the wonderful women who are bragging about not wanting to have kids. Seriously, as if modern women weren't unappealing enough, now they don't even want to have kids, meaning there's literally no reason to date them. And so not only are you more likely to find women that actually want kids when you go overseas, it's also a lot easier and cheaper to start a family in most of these countries.
To the left, you can see what looks like a baby orangutan, but it's actually my son Teddy. Raising a family in Philippines is a lot more affordable and a lot more accessible than back home.
Now before I wrap up this video, I need to debunk one more absolutely disgusting tactic that so many women are using to hate on passport bros, which is the allegation of tourism.
The part about the passport bros that nobody wants to mention is a lot of these men are actually going overseas to underage girls.
Yeah, those are not passport bros, you absolute moron. Because older men in their 50s and 60s traveling to certain Asian and African countries for girls and boys, mind you, of a particular age range has been going on for decades and already has a name. It's called tourism by pedophiles, and it was going on way before the passport bro movement even became a thing. So looping that group of degenerates into the passport bro movement is just
sick.
It's
one of their favorite things to do to shame American men is just immediately call them and relate them to PDF files. That's like one of their favorite tactics. You'll often hear these women do that when we talk about men's preference for, women who aren't hairy, men's preference for fertile women, and then of course, right, these women will then say, "Oh, American men, these men are just PDF files." It's just, they always go below the belt and they want to shame you, and they just go 0 to 100 so quick. And it's one of their favorite tactics, actually, to shame men, is to just compare them with PDF files. It's one of their go-tos, no doubt about it.
And yet again proves my point about modern women always trying to criminalize normal male behavior that they don't like. Because the concept of passport bros is a direct consequence of a totally f***ed up dating market in the West caused by dating apps, social media, and feminism. And it has nothing to do with that kind of depravity. This also takes us to one of the darker sides of being a passport bro, and for some reason modern women really seem to take pleasure from this, and that is passport bros who ended up dead.
Passport bros are getting killed. Try doing better, okay?
Know that those actions are now coming with consequences.
Geez, I wonder why men are running away from these women. They seem so lovely, right?
Ugh.
Now don't be alarmed by this news of passport bros dying in Colombia, since this is all easily avoidable, and it all comes down to following some basic common sense steps. Because first of all, you simply don't have to go to Colombia. since even though Colombia is very popular and has a lot of beautiful women, it is also not a particular safe country, and there are literally dozens of better options out there. But if you do want to go to Colombia, then at least have some basic situational awareness, because Medellin, Colombia is not the same as Zermatt, Switzerland or Copenhagen, Denmark. And a lot of these guys that got killed were not looking to meet a nice wholesome girl, they were trying to get laid, and they were being idiots about it. Which means that this danger of getting killed is not exclusive to passport bros, since it applies to anyone who's being an idiot in South America. This was part 2 of Passport Bros. Please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos.
Nice, really good video. Let's look at some of the comments below here. American women. The only women Passport Bros are going to get are the ones they have to pay for. Also American women. Men must pay for everything. There you go. Spanish man here. Don't come to Spain searching for wives. Women here are like American women, but they speak Spanish. They're not that different. Let's see here. I worked in healthcare for 33 years, predominantly women who were strong, independent. In reality, the majority of these women were single mothers, had crippling debt, and they drove foreign vehicles, bought luxury goods, and lived way above their means. Often complained they needed a six-figure man to fund their lifestyle. Fantastic. Western women are cooked, he says. Yep. The only women the Passport Bros can get are the ones who they pay for. You want us to pay your bills, and when you divorce us, you take all of our things away. You are financially more risky for men. Yeah, and unlike Americans, American chicks, these women over here are not conditionally, these women that we're talking about in this video, are not conditionally feminine. They're not conditionally submissive. It's just the way they are, and if they don't like a man, then they don't stay with him. They don't need a man to be super masculine in order for them to actually be feminine. It's not a switch they turn on and off. It's just the way that they are. Really good video. Excellent work. Go check him out. Really impressed with his videos and the way he puts these things together. And he really paints a good picture, doesn't he? Opens your eyes to the reality and just how bad it is. But anyways, that's where I'll end the video. So if you enjoyed that, drop a like, subscription. Bye-bye.